What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on what if Deku was transported to Danmachi part 14. Now, before we jump into this, I want to say go check out my second channel. It's my gaming channel. Over there, we do gaming events with fans. We have one coming up. It comes up on this Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Central Time. It's on Minecraft. If you want to join, go join the Discord and DM me directly. I'll respond and I'll friend you over there. And then you can join into the event. Now, speaking of Discord, I want to shout out some people that have joined the Discord, obviously, between videos like I do every video. Thank you, Java2015, Scaria, Azurization, 257. I still can't say that word no matter how many times. Black_Phantom, thank you all for joining it. Azurization. I can't say it. I couldn't say it for SAO, and I still can't see it. So thank you all for joining that. Now, I do want to say sorry because I know I've been, swallowing my spit and stuff, which probably annoyed some of you in the comment section. I remember some guy pointed it out, and I actually feel bad. So now, don't know if you guys can hear it, but I got a water bottle, so rather than drinking spit, I'll drink water. I don't know how much better that is, but hopefully it's better for you all. And also, go check out the joint channel. It'll be down in the description down below. If you guys want to see that, there's tons of what if content on there, so if you guys like my channel mostly for what ifs, you can go check it out down there. There will also be anime reviews. Currently I'm working on an anime review for the Slime Isekai anime that's out this season, so if you guys want to go watch that review and my thoughts on the series, go ahead and go click that little button, the little link down there, and go check it out. That should be up Sunday as well. So hey, you guys are going to get a lot of content Sunday. Now let's jump straight into this what if. See, where we last left off last time, Izuku had just joined the war games, helping out Belle and the other people that were joining in. He ended up finding out that the elf girl's name was Ryu, which Izuku was pretty understanding of. He never really had an issue with the girl. So he was quite happy to be able to, being able to conversate with the girl, because he still wanted to know about different cultures and different kinds, because he didn't want to be anything, well, for the lack of better words, racist to anybody. So he decided to make sure to conversate with her at a later date and time. He found out that the blacksmith that was there was named Welf Crozo. Izuku really didn't know who Crozos were, but Welf then explained that Crozos were a proud family of, blacksmiths that seemed to be enabled to, create magical swords. Welf seemed to be quite upset about that fact, but still believed that it was an important fact to state, seeing how they'll be using some of his magic swords he crafted, mainly just for this mission. Izuku smiled, but declined the magic swords, stating that Hephaestus had crafted magic swords for him, so he really didn't need anything like magic swords or anything like that. Which kind of surprised Wolf. Hephaestus almost crafted for no one other than a very certain select of people. And when he was about to ask Izuku why did she craft it for him, Izuku cut him off, stating that he rather not actually explain, which only interested Welf even more. Last up was the little girl who claimed herself to be an excellent supporter. Her name was Lily. I still can never know how to pronounce that name correctly. I'm pretty sure it's Lily. It's Lili. I'm pretty sure it's how you spell it, so I'm pretty sure it's Lily. I think that's how you would say it. I don't know. I didn't like her much in the anime, so I never paid attention to her name. I'm evil, I know. Okay. But going back into this, I got off topic. My bad. So, Lily explained that she was actually a Palmwheel that could, well, have a very strong variation of transformation magic that allowed her to basically change and mimic the aspects of other species. Izuku thought that was actually pretty sick. You know, transformation magic seems to be a pretty rare thing, especially something that was as strong as being able to mimic other species. Lily boasted about it and hit her chest pretty hard with a proud smile on her face. Now that Izuku had gone to know almost everyone on the team, other than a few extra members that came along later, Izuku eventually went back over the plan. They were all going to be sieging the castle. They all know that the Apollo Familia seem to have very well-off artifacts and stuff, but they probably aren't going to be expecting someone with Izuku's strength. Izuku was well known for being stupidly strong. His feats were, well, damn near limitless, and almost anyone that had ever met the kid would all agree so too. There isn't many people that said they could take out the Goliath 2 days after being an adventurer solo with no assistance and also being level 1. That alone was a pretty immaculate feat. Now you add on some of other Izuku's achievements and he just keeps sounding better and better. Izuku then went on to explain that the basic plan would be that almost everyone will be attacking the outside, except for him and Bell, which will be going inside and attacking the inner sector. When Lily asked why him and Bell were attacking the inner sector, Izuku explained that most likely him and Bell probably had the best chance of dealing the most damage. And also Bell was the safest while being next to Izuku. So the situation still be it that Izuku was probably the best option to keep Bell nearby, and as well as the best weapon. So having Bell and Izuku with each other at all times made sense. Okay. Izuku then went on to explain that the actions that they're about to take are probably going to be quite dangerous, and that he wanted everyone to have a very safe and hopefully easy trip, as they hopefully can take out this guy pretty easily. This got some mocking laughs from Lily as she claimed that she will make sure that nothing will happen and that he'll be taken out pretty easily, which Belle was quite thankful for. Welf kind of made a snarky joke at, and most of the other people present really didn't care. Eventually the day came. Everyone slowly started to load up. Izuku and Bell trained together for a little bit, and Izuku was able to see Bell's capabilities and saw that they were at a way higher level. Higher than what he had expected Bell to be at, seeing how Bell was still a pretty relatively new adventurer, having about a month's worth of experience. He also saw Bell's skill that gave him double experience, and thought that was kind of cheaty. Then Izuku remembered how he essentially gains 8 times the experience for anything, and decided not to really, well, push his luck, to say the least. Izuku and Bell both snuck in. Izuku was using a invisibility spell that he had created based off of Hakaguri's quirk. It came in very handy for him and Bell to both infiltrate the area, seeing how no one could see them while they were walking around. Izuku then told Bell that the attacks are going to start as soon as he shot up a fireball, as the plan had stated, and that Bell should ready himself because Most people are going to notice that the fireball came from inside, and just in case if they were able to somehow detect where they were at, it would be a serious issue. Bell agreed and shook his head. Izuku launched a fireball that he then made it explode middle of air, creating what appeared to be a second sun for anyone that was present. This started the attack. Most of the guards were kind of confused about the fireball that had shown up inside of the base, but some of them were even more shocked to see their walls being hit at with massive explosions, bigger than what most of them were able to even see. They ended up looking over there and saw what appeared to be an elf running around carrying two swords, one blue, one red. As she quickly bolted away, Izuku looked around to see if anyone had even found out where they had came from. Of course, seeing how everyone was way more focused on the pure fact of a giant explosion had just happened, no one cared for the tiny little sun that was erupted inside the castle walls. This made it quite easy for Izuku and Bell to continue sneaking past. They were able to take out one of the guards that were guarding into the throne room. It was pretty simple and seemed to be pretty safe of an option. Then again, none of them had detection. But when Izuku and Bell both entered a room, a fireball was shot at them. Izuku dodged, but Bell didn't get able to dodge all the way and actually got hit. Izuku looked back to see Bell being hit and saw that the spell had actually worn off on him. Izuku didn't know the complete range of the spell, mainly because he had just fought it up before actually attacking and moving in. Izuku cursed himself for not actually planning on practicing the spell and just making it just so he can quickly and hopefully sneak in. Izuku ended up entering and finding Bell again. After finding Bell, he quickly pulled Bell over to him. This made it pretty simple for Izuku to just quickly help Bell out with a healing spell. Based off of Recovery Girl, he was able to heal Bell, but it wasn't too much. Then he created a time rewind spell based off of Eerie, but that spell drained up his mana very quickly, so Izuku almost had none left, which means any of his other capabilities would actually be quite difficult for him to be able to use. That involved using, well, mana. Even though there wasn't many, there was still a few, which made his life quite difficult, especially seeing how he can power up his One for All when he combines physical enhancement spells into it. Kinda sucked that Izuku was at this point, but he decided to forget about it for now and look towards the man that shot a fireball at him. This man seemed to be very weird. His aura seemed to be something different, but Izuku decided to ignore it for now. Bell got up quickly after being healed and thanked Izuku for it. Izuku said nothing much, but almost everyone else in the room kind of almost shuddered when they heard Izuku's name be sounded off. The gods that were watching were kind of shocked that Loki had let her prize pup go ahead and join someone else's familiar games. And Loki said it was for a favor for a favor. This confused most of the other goddesses and gods there, but they decided not to intervene any more than already doing what they had done. They then quickly had the situation come down to just watching Izuku. They had heard about the boy, and some of their people have talked about his strengths and also talked about his unorthodox fighting style and how weird it was and all the weird things that surrounded the boy, especially his quick growth, seeing how Izuku was already level 3 in the time which was about nearly around 3 to 4 months. That was unprecedented, unheard of. Even the Sword Princess took about 3 to 4 months to even reach level 2. But Izuku was able to reach level 2 in less than 1. Hell, less than 2 days. And the only reason why he wasn't even level 3 at an earlier day and time was because he barely even trained. People were kind of still shocked about Izuku's pure capabilities, as Loki just kind of laughed it off. She knew about Izuku's reasonings for being so weird, and understood that she can't really disclose the information. Not yet, anyway. Of course, one of the people present kind of already understood Izuku's situation, and that being the leader of Oreo himself, Oros. He understood the situation Izuku was in, mainly because he had kept eyes on the boy, because he had realized that the boy had decided to come into the city. Even though he knew the boy was randomly teleported, he still found it very quite weird that the boy was here, much less that the boy was actively doing what he was doing. The boy had been a hero from a different world. Oros had known that much, but he hasn't really known too much else about it. He decided to let Loki keep it on the down low for now, mainly because the boy himself didn't actually affect anything much, but decided that he should look into the man. Mainly because if what he said was true, that meant that it was something the gods didn't know, and if it was something the gods didn't know, that was a scary situation, not only for the gods, but for even the mortals themselves, who look up to the gods for assistance. It was a scary thought, that one, and one that Oros really didn't want to ever think. But maybe he had to. That's why he kept it at a serious look on his face the entire time while inspecting Izuku, to make sure Izuku wouldn't do anything devious or mischievous. This man was the unbridled unknown that had been bugging him recently, so he decided to watch the boy with a more attentive look. Loki was able to notice this almost straight away, and thought it was kind of weird. Then she remembered that man knows almost everything that happens in this city, no matter how it's looked. He is the god of the sky after all. Understanding that he should be able to know anything that happens underneath it makes sense. She almost damned herself for thinking that it was a kept secret that only her and Izuku and a few members of her familiar knew. Damn. Loki decided that she would have to introduce Izuku to Oros, mainly just so it would help Oros become better in tune with Izuku and get to know the boy better, rather than thinking he was some sort of object to be feared, much more of a person to be not worshipped, but to be appreciated, to say the least. Izuku, on the other hand, was still trying to discern why this man had such a frightening aura. He couldn't understand why. It wasn't that scary of one, but it almost seemed like there was almost nothing he could do against it. Like it was some super-powered thing. This scared Izuku even more than anything else had. He decided that he should probably actually look into the man more than he had given previously. The man smiled and claimed himself to be the captain of the Apollo Familiar. This scared Izuku a lot. He quickly ran. Bell already knew if that was the truth, then this man was their main target and should be their priority to take down. Meanwhile, while Izuku was running away, Bell quickly ran behind the man and sent a firebolt at him. This spooked the man a lot, not expecting a firebolt to be coming at him, but a firebolt came at him nonetheless. He ended up quickly trying to look to see where the firebolt had come from, but thankfully from Izuku's capabilities, he was kept well hidden, making it way harder to be seen. But then, just almost like something weird had happened, um, Bell just randomly got sent flying backwards. This confused Izuku a lot. Izuku was hyper confused about the situation that was going on at hand. So confused that he couldn't understand the reasoning behind it. He looked around to see who did it, but he couldn't see anyone at all. This even made Izuku even more scared. Not seeing someone was hard, but not seeing someone and having them still be able to deal damage was worse. Much worse. Izuku decided to play along with the mystery man that seems to be antagonizing them from the shadows. He noticed quickly that the man's attack seemed to be a pretty, common segment. The attacks seemed to be pretty systematic in their actions. This gripped Izuku's attention more than anything. He wanted to get to know why. Suddenly, he found himself teleported outside of the room. This freaked out Izuku a lot, knowing that Bell was still inside, fighting the captain, but decided if he got teleported outside, that means the opponent must have wanted him to be outside. So he understood that there must have been a reasoning for it. He looked around and saw a man slowly start striding up. This man looked weird. Izuku noticed that this man was pretty tall and quite buff. Izuku was very confused about who this man was, but then the man spoke. "I am Otter." This confused Izuku even more. He really didn't care about many people outside of his familiars, so a man introducing himself that way really didn't mind much. Then the man who had aptly named himself Otter had stated, "My goddess is quite interested in you. See, she was interested in people with unique souls, and your soul just happened to be quite a unique one. I'm known as Otter. My alias is the King. I have that name for multiple reasons, one of them being that I'm a demigod, related to strength. I'm almost unkillable, but my goddess has yet sent me to fight you." Izuku was very confused and really didn't have time to deal with this man's foolishness. Otter then stated something that surprised Izuku even more. "Currently, I'm on the side of your enemy. See, since you guys were able to bring in a person, they decided that Apollo's familiar was able to bring in extra people as well, and, let's just say my goddess jumped for joy as soon as she realized you were joining in, and instantaneously signed me up. She wanted to see how you would fare against me." Izuku couldn't believe it. He was so confused. He didn't even know who this man was or who this goddess he spoke of. But he knew this was a serious situation, and he was too far away from the castle to actually make it back in time without going 100% of one for all and just instantaneously dashing over them. His teleportation was out of range, so he couldn't teleport there just yet. Izuku looked around to see if there was anything he could use for assistance, but saw no one. He then stated, "I don't have time for this. If you want to fight, we can fight solo later on. Right now, I have to help my friend." "Oh, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have wanted to fight either. You're strong, but you're still young. You're not ripe for the picking, I should say. So then why don't we just not fight for now? See, we can't do that. My goddess wants us to fight. And if it's for my goddess, I shall do anything." Izuku almost scoffed at this action, and he stated, and then he remembered in this world, that's basically it. Everyone follows their god's words, no matter what it shall be. If they ask them to die, they will gladly die. Izuku sighed and decided that he will actually attempt to fight this man that was known as the King. Izuku said, "Are you sure you want me to go 100%? Otter then stated, "I wouldn't have it any other way." Izuku sighed, thinking about 100% being a little bit too much, but decided to oblige with the man's actions, as he got into his stance and prepared to fight the king. That's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. If you liked it, hit the like button, and if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, goodbye.